Coach Lowry, aka Savell. I want to thank you for getting on my show each and every week at our podcast, You Going Pro. We are the number one podcast in the world that helps athletes develop proficiency, assisting and passion for the game they love. Today's episode is episode 50. We have very own Coach White. He has been at Dillard University baseball program for this is his second year since the arrival of the program. He has been an intern as of March 29th, 2024. He also become the head coach June 19th. That's at the end of the season. He became the interim coach.
End of the season.
The program was struggling at that time, but now they're on the rise. So as of since he's been there, the Blue Devils has been 14-6. They have had a 20-27 overall record in 2024, but this year is going to be better than ever. I'm assuming that the Blue Devils program is going to take off some different heights, but also with that, Coach White has served as the CEO of the National Scouting Director for the National Scouting Bureau. That's good, so he knows about scouting. He also has a career in business and in politics. Wow, baseball guy knows politics. Okay,
Oh yeah.
he serves as a manager for the Wealth Bridge Financial and Mass Mutual and New Orleans Financial Company, which he's very smart. I can tell you that. But on top of that, I want to just introduce him because he has a heck of a resume. How you doing, Coach White?
Coach, I am doing wonderful. I I appreciate every time I get an opportunity to come on and talk. And, I have a very diverse background, which makes me kind of unique in this game. But I love sharing information and people need to know or want to know. If you look at several of the networks that I've been a part of, I'm always just answering questions, and sometimes I'm having to put some people in their place when they're giving their own information. So that's just kind of my background and my MO.
That's okay. I mean, I'm okay with putting people in their place as long as it's true. The truth will set you free.
Always the truth. Right,
That's all I
right,
care about.
right,
The
right,
truth. Now, Coach, let's talk
right.
about this. Now, I'm looking at this Wealth Bridge Financial. Because
Okay.
I
Yeah.
I actually have a financial background as well.
Okay.
And a lot of people don't know that. But the people that know me 20 years ago know that. So
Gotcha.
talk about wealth. How are you in the wealth bridge industry being a coach? Explain that.
No. So let me give a little clarity. All right. So, my former life. I mean, I did some pro ball, minor league ball stuff, independent ball. Um, in the midst of all that, I got into the financial services industry. Right. Um, and this is like 2004 to 2014, somewhere along in there. I stayed in the industry for about 10 years. I made it up as a managing partner with Mass Mutual. So I was one of the first African Americans to make managing partner in the Mass Mutual company, right? Mass Mutual happened to be one of those companies that, had a little bit of hands in a couple of different things that involved our people over the years, right?
Correct.
So I decided, one day I just got burnt out, and I was doing a lot. I was managing. I think we had like $320 million of assets under management or something, some crazy number that was. I just got burnt out. So one day I just decided, hey, I'm going back to school and I'm gonna start back coaching, right? And I went back to Alabama State to go ahead and finish my degree. And along the way, Coach Watkins, who brought me in as a college guy, when I transferred in from Auburn, he brought me in, and so I, you know, started coaching again, man. It was and this is after the years of minor league ball and independent ball and all this stuff. I went back to my alma mater, started coaching there, and things kind of took off from there again in baseball, where I started scouting with the Red Sox, started scouting with the Phillies. Went from there, and after they shut down what they called the Scouting Bureau with Major League Baseball, I actually bought the naming rights, and that's how you have the National Scouting Bureau. So I've done some things, and you'll hear some things coming out in the near future with the National Scouting Bureau, more than just the scouting side of things, and a full line of player development system that takes guys from A to Z, from the development side through the recruiting side, and you'll see how those things all tied together. That'll be coming out here shortly. We have several partners that that we tied their softwares into our software, right? And our system serves as a complete a management hub to help guide players from that A to Z process. So like I said, it's diverse. So being in the financial services industry kind of opened my eyes to several things,
Okay.
right? And that's why the diversity and all the things that I have done in the past benefit both Dillard and the other companies that we now run. So
Right.
yeah,
It also gives you some knowledge as well to be able to educate some of your players in the
right,
future and things of that nature. Because I used to be in the mortgage industry for 14 years, and when people start talking about going to buy a house, I'm like, listen, I can do that with my eyes closed. I know how to fix my credit. I know how to get credit scores better. I know how to do
right,
all that. So,
right,
it's very good to be diverse to know other things besides sport. And
right.
your story's a little similar to mine. And I'm also going to talk to you a little bit after this podcast. You just said something that it just kind of rings a bell. We'll talk about that later. I'm like,
Okay.
this guy's got a resume on him. So, Coach, let's talk about this other thing you got going on that I never knew
Okay.
about. You got
Okay.
this politics. How does politics,
Oh
business,
man.
and baseball
Oh
match?
wow.
How does that come together?
Well, so let me give a little more clarity.
Okay.
The political life was also during the managing partner phase of my life, right? Where we got into several things. We got into lobbying. We got into things of this nature in the state, in Alabama, the state of Alabama, and I became very good at research, or what they call political operative movement. Right, I was the guy that they brought in to do the research to basically identify the things to excel or propel a potential candidate or remove a potential candidate. So yeah, so it was.
I
So
love it.
yeah, it was. Again, it's a very diverse background, right? Being able to research and do the things, you can use those things for positive,
Right.
or you can use those things for negative. At one point, I felt like, I was using some of that stuff for negative, and then I said, well, I'm gonna stop, get out of the political side of things, and I'm gonna use my research and abilities, those capabilities to help develop baseball players. So I kind of flipped the whole script with the kinesiology and biomechanics specialists and the the certifications that I obtained over the years. And now we utilize that information and my research and abilities to help develop baseball. Let me put it that way. That's the best way to explain it.
Wow. Wow. It's like looking at an encyclopedia and going to a thesaurus and going to Wikipedia, all wrapped in one big thing. I mean, I've had quite a few people on this podcast and on my show, and you are probably most definitely the most diverse because I would have never
Yeah.
expect. I mean, I can read your resume and it's very lengthy, and that's a good thing. But at the same token, you did. I guess the question is, didn't expect it to be that much, you know. But
Yeah.
also, it
Yeah.
also
Yeah.
one other thing. Let me throw this out here. I don't know how old you
Yeah.
are, and I don't want to know. So I mean, because
All
when
right.
you have a little bit more season in the game, you should have been accomplished a little bit, a few more things. That's what I'm trying to say. You know, if you've been around the block at
Yeah.
least 3 times, you should be accomplished something besides saying I'm a baseball player. I'm just a baseball
Right,
player.
right,
So
right, right.
with that
I
being
mean, I've resorted. My political career has resorted to. I am only now the homeowners association president. That is all I feel like doing, and want to be tied to politics.
Okay,
So,
I got you. I got you. I got you.
yeah,
We're not
yeah,
gonna go into politics. This is a sports show. We ain't gonna
right.
because people be like, Coach Lowry, what are you doing? Coach White over there
I know,
talking.
right?
I'm like, I'm not gonna go there
No, I don't.
because
I don't. I
I
don't
don't.
want to be. I don't want to. I don't want to talk about politics at all. We're good to go.
We're talking about baseball and life.
Absolutely,
That's all we're talking
absolutely.
about. We talking about baseball and life. But hey, where are you from, Coach? By the way, because you said quite a few things that I didn't
Man,
even see on your resume, on your bio.
yes. So I am from a small town called Clio, Alabama.
Right.
So let me give you kind of a full spectrum of this, right? I am from the same town that George Wallace was from.
Okay. The
Okay.
comedian. The comedian.
No, 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 no. The one that stood, the governor that stood in front of the University of Alabama and said segregation today, segregation tomorrow, segregation forever.
Oh, okay.
Okay? So I'm from that town. I graduated from Louisville High School, which is like 7 miles up the road, right? And then I ended up going to, Auburn for a short period of time and then up to Alabama State University.
Okay. Okay. All right.
So,
That
and
makes sense.
I lived in Montgomery until moving down here to New Orleans. I lived in Montgomery for 25 years, minus the travel and coaching tests that I've done. So yeah, I mean, but that's where I'm from. I mean, I've been all over. I've coached in Canada. I've coached in Miami. I've coached in Texas. So I've
Wow.
been all over the place.
I
Yeah.
mean, because New Orleans and Alabama is two different places.
Yeah,
Two different
two
places.
totally different places, but I kind of adapt everywhere I go.
Right. That's good. It's good that
Yeah.
you threw that out there because I mean, I thought you said Alabama, like Alabama. I'm like, I
Yeah.
mean, so with that being said, you played baseball growing up in Alabama. How was
Alabama,
that?
correct.
How was that growing up in Alabama playing baseball when you played?
Ah, oh man, it was good. I mean, we had there was a lot of talent around us, right? I've had guys to go as mid round guys. I've had guys to go as early round guys that were around us. I was a late guy, so it is what it is. And I'm not going to ever say I was the best that was around us, right? I remember a cat named Ed Lewis that he would stand in the right field and throw a ball, to home plate that sounded like just fizz coming through the air, and it was above 100 miles an hour. 'Cause, you know the sound, right? We had those guys that were around us, man, and so baseball was good. I mean, and here's the thing about it. Lo and behold, it was very diverse. It was all the teams that I played on
Good.
were very diverse teams. And just to be honest with you, it wasn't until I coached at Carver High School, which is a predominantly historically black institution. That was my first real time of coaching a full-fledged, black baseball club. Everywhere I've been has been really diversified. I think when me and Carl Nichols put together, who's also on my coaching staff here at Dillard, when we put together the Stockyard Bulls, and that was the team, that national team that carried Tamar Johnson and Drew Jones and all those guys that were on that team. That was the second time that I actually had a full-fledged minority team. I think we may have one or two Caucasian white players on the team, right? Matter of fact, one of the Caucasian players, his dad is one of my associate coaches here at Dillard as well. So it's kind of we have a kind of a unique flavor in what we do and how we operate, right? My youth was very diverse. Some of it was good, some of it was bad, some of it you had to put people in check. Sometimes, and some you had to side with on certain things, right? And at the end of the day, it was. I think it was an experience that prepared me for life, and understanding that, you live in a very diverse world, and you have to be able to operate in it no matter where you are.
That's right. That's
When you get dropped off in Canada,
right.
and you have the Hutterites and you have the other ethnic groups or religious groups that are there, and you have to fit in. You have to find a way to make things work. And I think the diverse background that I have, prepared me for those things.
I
That's
think
the best way to say it.
you said it very good. I mean, you broke it down because at the end of the day, we live in a diverse world. Now,
Right.
there may be some segregation and there may be
Right.
some racism, but
Right.
the bottom line, we live in a very, very diverse world in general.
Right.
In general.
In general.
So you
Right.
can't just say just because we play baseball, it's not diverse. Now there are pockets everywhere. That's in everything, in every sport, in every life, every part of life. There's going to be problems. It's just like you said. How are we going to handle it? How are we going to deal
Right.
with the situation? And I think
Right.
with your diverse background, it's kind of helped you pave the way. Pave
Right.
the way.
Right.
Your story's a little bit better than some of the guys I had on on my show, and your story is a little bit better than my story, but
I
I gotta tell you, by the grace of God, that God has kept me in the right path because
Right.
everybody's story is different. Everybody's got a different story.
Yeah, and that's why I tell people I don't say my story is better or any greater than your story, right? What my story is different, right? We've all gone through different paths in life, and we've all that those of us that are still here come out on the other side either unscathed or better, or I should say better in general, right? I mean, a lot of people look at obstacles and diversity as things that are hindrance. I look at them as challenges, things for me to overcome, right? And there's opportunities for improvement. That's how I look at it. So I don't get bothered. I mean, you get frustrated sometimes. So I can't say I don't get bothered. You get frustrated with certain things, but you were made to endure it all. You would if you can handle that pressure would be put upon you.
That's right.
You just sometimes you got to dig down deep and just put your boy pants on, pull your pants up, and let's go at it. You know what I mean? It is what it is.
Hey, you got to put your big boy pants on. Let's go.
Put your big boy pants on. Let's go.
Let's get it done.
Yeah.
I like that because a lot of times in this world we live in, 2025, we know that a lot of kids aren't like this. And and the bottom line is this. I think this is my belief is my background wasn't as good as some of these kids, but the things they instilled in me and the things they taught me made me a man.
Right.
Because I know how to stand up. I know what happens when I get a no. I know what happens when I fall. I know when people criticize me, I don't just cry. No, we ain't got time for that. We got to get up. We got to do what we got to do and make the best of the situation. And never let hey, as an old saying back in the day, don't let the devil see you sweat.
Right. Absolutely.
Don't let the devil see you sweat. Am I right, Coach?
Absolutely. No, absolutely. I make him think if I am sweating, it's because I'm walking. If it looks like sweat, let me clarify. It means I'm probably under a waterfall.
Not because of you.
Not because of me. Right.
That's it. That's good, man. It's good to know that because I didn't know what your background was. I know you got quite a bit of a very prestigious resume, and it's very good. Like I said, someone, your story is very similar. You started off in the financial industry, and then you didn't finish school. You went back to school, and now you're coaching again. Yeah. I like it. That's you got some tenacity, and some will, and some dignity. And some perseverance, and that's what we need in today's world. So, going from high school, I don't know if you said you got drafted or you had an opportunity to play pro ball. How did that transition take place?
So I actually was offered, and my dad made me go to school. Let me put it this way: it was late round money. So to be clear, it was late round money, not a lot of money. I had offers for both football and baseball. I chose to go to Auburn. Briefly, I had an injury, so I ended up going to Alabama State and finishing playing baseball there. So the transition for me really was, I was going either way it go. I was going to play some sport. I was a four-sport athlete in high school. I would start off with football, then you go to basketball, and then you have baseball, but at the same time you had track and field. So I won state championships in track and field, the 200 meter shot put and distance, right? So I was an athlete. So the transition for me was, all right, which sport are you going to play? And I love baseball. My dad, I remember one day, this is actually while I was in college at Alabama State, and I had gone fishing that day or something like that. It was kind of, we were out of school. It was the fall, started the fall. I had gone fishing that day. We had a day off on a Friday or something like that. And I come to the football game because my dad was the athletic director, and the head basketball coach at my high school. And so they were playing at Catholic High School in Montgomery. So I came to the game. My wife met me there, and they have those little games that they do during the halftime, right? After the band plays, they come get somebody out of the stands, and they want you to kick a ball. They try to see if you can make the uprights, and if you make the uprights, you get food for your immediate family right there with you, right? So my dad volunteers me to go do this kicking, right? So I go out on the field. They had this lady who's out there. They have another guy out there, and I got my snake boots on because I was out bank fishing or whatever,
Yeah.
and they kick and they don't even come close. I kick and I kick it on top of the school behind it. My dad said I knew he should have stayed playing football. That's what he told my wife. So I love baseball. Let me put it that way. I love baseball. I think God has given me the abilities to help teach this game at a level that has helped guys move on. Right? He's given me the ability to bring together this staff that I have and the relationships we've built over the years to be able to bring a staff of this magnitude to Dillard University. And I think we're here to help some guys that may have been overlooked. That we're bringing in or have brought in, help these guys, navigate their way to go pro.
Yeah. I got you. The unseen, the unknown will be seen.
Right.
I just got a revelation.
Absolutely.
The unseen,
Absolutely.
the unknown will be seen.
Unknown and the will be seen. Will be seen.
The unknown
So.
and the unseen. They haven't seen them yet.
Right.
They get
We
ready.
haven't seen them yet.
Not
They
yet.
getting ready
Get
to.
see. And that's
They
good.
getting ready to.
I like underdog stories. I mean, I like that because I was one of those kids as well coming from Chicago because I didn't play high school baseball. So I just kind of
Okay.
walked on the field. I played I played Little League, American Legion ball, minor league. I played that, but I didn't play organized in high school.
Right.
Because I wasn't, let's put it this way, disciplined to go to school and
I get it.
do the stuff I need to do. And,
Right.
and I basically cut my own foot, but I had to work harder to get to college.
Right.
I got through that. I got through it, but it's just interesting to hear your story. I like your story. I mean, and you had an opportunity to go play independent ball. So independent ball, what league was you in? There's several.
I was in the at that time it was the Southeast Professional Baseball League. A gentleman by the name of Frank Evans, former Negro Leaguer, Hall of Famer, by the way, who's been deceased now 10 years. Actually, is the person that got me into coaching in the first place.
Frank
Right.
Evans.
After I had my little short stints in minor ball, I went to workouts and tryouts in the Southeastern Professional League. Coach Frank knew of me. I mean, I had talked to Coach Frank on many occasions prior to that, and he convinced me to become a player coach in this league. So I became the pitching coach and the closer for the America's Arrows. That was the actual team that I was playing for. From there, some things transpired. The America's Arrows team did not last much, not too long. It lasted half a season. We got to the break, and then I had to take over as general manager, right? And so when I took over as general manager, I had to make a decision. Am I going to try to, keep this league, keep this team together, or is it best for us to merge this team? And it turned out that the best option to be able to save opportunities for my guys was to merge the team. So I merged the team with the Montgomery Wings, where I then also became the acting general manager, the assistant GM, and then officially the GM. And if you don't know the story, the Montgomery Wings was the precursor to the Montgomery Biscuits, which is the AA affiliated team for the Tampa Bay Rays. Right. Of which I just lost one of my coaches too, by the way.
Yeah, because I actually know who the coach is over there. I had him on the show, and Ronnie. Is it Ronnie? Ronnie Richardson?
Ronnie Richardson is he's the head
Yeah.
minor league. He's the minor league development. Yeah.
Ronnie Richardson, because he was talking about the Montgomery Biscuits or something.
Montgomery Biscuits, right?
I'm like, what kind of name is that? I'm thinking this in my head,
yeah.
Montgomery Biscuit. Now, if that don't sound country, what is country?
So how they got the name is very interesting. Obviously, they did the little survey out amongst the community, and we have a very well-known restaurant owner by the name of Martha. Miss Martha actually turned in the name for the name Biscuits because that was one of the things she made as part of her breakfast at her restaurant. And that name, was voted upon, and it beat several other names. And so Miss Martha is the person that is credited for the Montgomery Biscuits name.
Okay.
I get the credit of proving that baseball can survive in Montgomery, Alabama.
That's not. I mean, that's a challenge. Which you've proven yourself, but that is a challenge. You
That's a
know,
challenge.
it's a challenge, but it's a little more challenging than other places. Let's put it that way. Let's just put
Right.
it that way.
Right. It's a
But
little more challenging than other places with the dynamics of Montgomery at the time,
right, right,
with the dynamics of the mayor. That's why the politics, and that's how all those things came into being. The dynamics were different, and it needed navigated, and we were able to navigate it, and with dollar beer night and dollar hot dog night, and bring your kids out, and kids get in free, and all those promotions and things like that, right?
right.
It proved that it could last. And now you have the biscuits there, and they're doing very well.
Well, that's good. That's good. It's good because actually I'm looking at the history of Montgomery's double A teams or minor league teams. They got the Tampa Bay Rays, they had the Seattle Mariners, they had the Chicago Cubs, and they had the Twins. So they
And the Twins, right?
they had quite a few teams there. So basically, they can survive. I didn't even know there was a minor league team there
Yeah,
until you. I mean, because I had Ronnie on the show. It's been quite a few
right.
episodes ago, but he told me because he was with another affiliate before that. He was with the Rays, but when he said that, I was like, Montgomery Biscuits. I'm like,
Right.
you making me hungry, brother. I'm not even a biscuit guy. So, with that being said, I mean, apparently they're doing something right. They continue to keep doing it right. But also
Yeah.
it's good for the community as well. It's good for
Right.
the community, and it's good to kids and also all of the other people something to do to stay
And,
out the
and,
public.
prior to me taking the position, here at Dillon, I mean, I had a very, and I still do. Matter of fact, when I come on, I still have a very strong working relationship with the management of the Biscuits. So um, there were some things that we were talking about actually doing that would, really be beneficial in the community, such as, kind of not necessarily our youth academy,
Right.
like the urban youth academies or the MLB youth academies around, but we were working on some things to institute something very similar in the community and be able to help out a little more kids and help position some guys to help grow. So they are doing a great job in the community itself. And like I said, my relationship with those guys, we can hang out. We'll hang out. We'll eat dinner at a restaurant together, things of this nature, and we talk about what the future could look like for the Biscuits within Montgomery, and so on and so forth. So I get a little plug and play still with the guys, so it's good. Yeah,
I like that, coach. Coach, that's pretty good. I mean, that's really good. I mean, for a guy being a four sport athlete,
yeah,
you like baseball the most. My question to
yeah.
you is this: when did you decide to let go of the other sports to focus on one or two?
Well, I think the game itself starts telling you where you should go, right? In football, you have a lot more injuries, or I did at least, right? I was exposed to a lot more injuries, and the last injury when I received it, I said, wait a minute, man, I got opportunity to go play pro baseball. What I actually want to do, man, I decided that was something I wanted to do at a young child. As a young child, I got the opportunity to be a professional athlete in pro baseball. I'm going to pursue pro baseball.
Right.
I'm tired of head banging and walking around with concussions and all this other stuff all the time, with sore arms and knees when people don't try to hit you and cut block you and everything else, no? You know.
I
So
like
I made the decision that baseball is the way to go.
okay.
Again, like my dad said, he still to this day think I should have played. Like he thought I'd be a true NFL guy, but I watched the game. I can't even coach football. Let me put it like that. I get headaches coaching football when I tried to coach when I was coaching high school ball, man. I can't do that every day. Get out there yelling and screaming all day, every day. Can't do that, man.
Oh my God.
Not me.
That's funny. He said, "Oh my God." But it is a fact. That's a fact. Because you know what? I when I first moved here to South Florida, and Miami they love football here. They love
Right,
football.
right. Love football.
They
Love
love
football.
it. It's like
Yeah,
football is it.
yeah,
And I came here,
yeah.
and And I was like, okay, whatever, whatever. So I said, let me go. I came to coach basketball. Really, that was my first thing to play, coach
Yeah.
basketball. Even though I'm a baseball
Yeah.
player, but basketball was
Right.
warm inside. It was inside.
Right.
So I was like, okay, I'm going
Right.
inside. I don't want to be outside. So he says, well, hey,
Right.
coach. The next year came. He said, coach, you did such a good job with our middle school team. You want to go help and make some extra money with the football team? I'm like, okay, whatever. I'll just help out. And you're right. All they do is scream, yell, all day, and they cussing all the time. Like, man, I can't
So,
do this.
so my dad is a Hall of Fame basketball coach. He's now the third winningest coach in the state of Alabama, right? And I can't coach baseball. I mean basketball.
Okay.
Like I know if I would have went and coached basketball, I'd probably have some SEC job at this point because of the pedigree, with the pedigree of him being such a Hall of Famer, and me and how I take and do what I do with baseball, I would do the same thing with basketball and how we, how we go about in the development phase and developing guys, right? But I can't. He has to fuss all the time too. I don't have time for that. I can't. I don't want to walk around with headaches all day, man. I mean, no.
He said he can't get headaches. I like it. But I'm gonna tell you, hey coach, really, I coached basketball for 3 years. I coached
Yeah.
football for 2 years, and I realized that I love. I mean, coach. I just didn't want to coach baseball because I basically wasn't over that I got hurt and I didn't get to go further than I wanted. So it was a
Yeah.
it was a me problem. It wasn't a sport. It
Yeah.
was a me problem.
Yeah.
So I tried to annihilate myself away from the sport. But then
I got you.
all of a sudden what happened was that fire started coming. You start getting that fire like, oh man. You start going to these games.
Yeah.
I'm watching these other coaches. I'm like, dude, what are you doing?
What are you doing?
What's that?
Yeah.
What are you
Yeah.
doing that? And so then I
Yeah.
said, all right, let me help. Let me help.
Well, that's how they got me here. Honestly, I was done. I was actually done coaching. I mean, I would do my travel ball stuff, but me trying to coach college ball again or something of that nature, I wasn't looking into that, man. I was happy scouting and working with the scouting bureau and covering the SWAC and SEC and everything else that we covered, and writing the scouting reports and giving that back to MLB scouts and cross checkers and all this stuff. I was pretty content with that, man. And I had a buddy of mine called me and say I need a favor, and here I am down at Dillon University. So
That's good, man. Good job, brother. I appreciate that. So let's talk about the scouting part, because I mean,
all right,
you got so much to. I can pick and choose and just.
yeah, we go in different directions on everything here,
All
right?
kind of directions. So with scouting. So for a person that wants to get into scouting, I know there's
Yeah.
there's called an area scout, and there's also another associate scout. So how do you get into
right.
that for the listeners? How do you get into that?
I stayed as an associate guy because they wanted to move me places. I didn't. I had a young family at the time. I wasn't trying to move a lot of different places. But the best way to try to get in is just showing up at games. Showing up at games, sitting, and if you see a guy that looks like a scout, going up there and having conversations. I mean, everything in this business is about relationships, right? And I mean, that's how I got the opportunities I got. You see, I don't mind talking, so I got up there and would listen to the guys talk and listen to what they talked about and ask questions and give a point of view if they ask me for my point of view of what I see, what I thought, and then they ask me about my background and I tell them, and then they're like, oh, okay. So you have some history in the game, and and it kind of started developing from there. Well, it went on to be 8 years of work, right? And identifying people and players, and whether I identify guys and turn them into to our scouting directors, or I saw college guys that looked like good college guys that I would recommend to coaches, and that's how I got into the scouting business. I mean, the scouting world. 8 years. I think it was 8 years between the Phillies and the Red Sox, and then with the scouting bureau and helping more than I'm above 500 plus players that signed college scholarships at this point, not including the ones that I've signed, at Dillon or whatever. But yeah, or signed as a college coach in general. So yeah, I mean, that's the way. I mean, that's the purest way that I found. Like now, I'm sending a lot of guys and helping a lot of guys go out with the diversity program that Tyrone Brooks with Major League Baseball is running. Matter of fact, two of the coaches that I had on my staff just got popped by major league teams, right? So I'm down on two coaches. We're trying to get two coaches, two new coaches in. Right? So
I hear you.
yeah, I had to run and joke with Tyrone. I said, man, what do I look like? A coach factory? Y'all just couldn't get everybody I get, right? And so, but it's a good thing, man. We've been able to identify some good guys, some good talented guys who, young guys who can progress in the game, man. That's what the business is about, At the end of the day, if I can help coaches, which is one of my loves, is if I can help coaches grow in this game, get better, bigger and better opportunities, I feel fulfilled, right?
Right.
I used to wonder, like, man, you developing all these guys, why they ain't calling you? I thought about it. Well, you old now, son. You old. That's why they ain't calling you. So, but no, I'm just joking. I'm just joking.
All right.
All these, man, I love having these guys, man. I love having these guys get these opportunities and growing. And, sometimes some things are for you, some things aren't for you.
Right, right,
But at the end of the day, if you can help these guys, if you can help somebody else get to where they need to be, you've done your job.
right, right. And that's what we call for. That's part of your purpose. That's part of your purpose.
Right.
That's part of your purpose.
Right.
You're supposed to do. I mean, you don't look at the cup being half empty. You look at the cup being half full. That's how you look at it.
Right.
And
Right.
whatever's more for you. Whatever's going to be for you,
Right.
it's going to be for you. That's how you look at it.
Absolutely.
Because I actually heard about you from another friend of mine as well. He talks very highly of you, and he spoke very highly of you. He's a scout. He's
He's a scout too, right?
He's a scout as well. He talked very highly of you. We talked a
That's
lot. He's like, you need to talk to Rasheed Rod. I'm like, Rasheed Rod? Yeah. Okay. And then now I understand what he was talking about when he was talking about you. He's like,
yeah, my man, Darwin's my man. He's Darwin looks out for me. I look out for him, and when things are shaky and when we are in each other's area, we get together and fellowship, whether it's over a meal or
right.
whatever it may be, or over a game. We go watch. When he was in Montgomery, I go out to and just watch games with him, and we just sit there and talk about the game and talk about what we see and just talk about life. So, Darwin's a good dude. I kind of felt when you said he recommended. I said, yeah, he set me up. Darwin set me up again.
Yeah, he's a good guy, man. He's good. He's a very good guy, and he referred me to a very good guy as well. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't
Appreciate
think
it.
that you were the four talent man, and you're also a four talent life skill man too. You do politics, you do lobbying, you do financial, you do coaching, you do management. You do it all. You got your hands. I mean, you got most.
Well, I did. Mainly everything now is built around, dealing with baseball and being CEO of National Scouting Bureau. So most of everything that I do is all built into that. Like I said before, I kind of stay away from the politics. Matter of fact, I think I've said something for the first time in several years on social media regarding politics, based on some of the things that I saw recently. So I kind of I used to dabble in it a lot, and I try to stay as far away from it as possible at this point.
I got you.
So, but yeah.
Now you talked about National Scouting Bureau. Explain
Yeah.
that to the listener. What is National Scouting Bureau?
So the Scouting Bureau started out just like it says. It started out as a scouting firm doing an talent evaluation. That's basically how we started. When the Scouting Bureau itself, Major League Baseball Scouting Bureau, shut down, I purchased the rights and the ownership of the phrase National Scouting Bureau. And so from there, it's kind of evolving into this, what we call the NSB universe, right? The NSB universe is kind of, if you think of the galaxy, and you think about all these solar systems and these planets within the solar system, that's kind of what we built this platform based off of. So inside the NSB universe, you have the NSB Academy, NSB University, and NSB Connect. So NSB Academy is anything that deals with the skill development side of baseball. Okay. The NSB University is obviously the intellectual side of it, right? It's the thing that deals with baseball IQ, all the way down to getting transcript audits and things of that nature to make sure you are a D1 guy, a D2 guy, whatever the audit tells us or tells you what you qualify as. And then the NSB Connect is taking all of the skill development, the intellectual development from under university, and now helping you connect with college coaches and college programs or pro scouts, whatever it may be. So that's what the NSB universe is and what the National Scouting Bureau has evolved into. We will also be doing scout classes, scout school. So that's one portion of it. We have certifications of coaches that will be guys that will be under the umbrella of what we do because it's a membership-based platform, right? If you become a member of it, you get to come to our combines and our camps, and we give you all the data and the metrics to help you develop and grow. That's basically what it's all about. And again, like I said, we started as a scouting firm, and you can put it like this: you can take Perfect Game, what's the other one, PBR, and put them all together. That's what the Scouting Bureau is. National Scouting Bureau.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I got it on. I looked it up. I got it on my phone right here.
Yeah. That's
So
it right there.
I'm just trying to check it out. The fastest growing scouting department in all of baseball, aspiring to provide unparalleled sights into high school and college talent. And that's just.
And that's the actual scouting side of it, right?
Okay.
And if you look at that particular page, you'll see things that when we covered the SWAC and the interviews and the things of that nature, that gives you kind of a capture of what we did to promote guys. That's kind of the promotion side of it, where we help guys get in that light in the eyes of the scouts and things of that nature.
Well, it sounds like, similar to a lot of other stuff people are doing, but I like what you're doing. I appreciate it. I didn't never heard of you before, but now that I heard of National Scouting Bureau. I heard of National Scouting Bureau. I've heard of that. But now you kind of broke it down what it actually is. It kind of makes a lot of sense, but I like what you're doing and continue to, is it a conflict of interest because you're coaching at a university?
No. Not at the NAIA level. Matter of fact, not at the D2 level. So yeah. Okay. So NCAA, they just have a little more. The Division I has more regulations on things, but there's still not a conflict there either. At some point. So, everybody has the same access to the same information because once we publish information, it's visible to everybody, and I don't hide information or keep information from other people. Okay. So we make sure all the information is visible to any schools or parties that have interest in that information. Yeah.
So, Coach, before I get to another question, I want to ask something about this National Scouting Bureau. Is it similar to Perfect Game, or is it at another level?
I believe it's at a different level. Perfect Game gives you the visibility of games with some scouting support beside it. We give you, our objective is to help you develop and go through the process, right? So what do I mean by development, right? So I mean that we're going to tie you to individuals that can actually help you develop the skills. Okay. We're going to tie you to the information, the baseball IQ style information that's going to move you from being on this side of the spectrum to that side of the spectrum, right? Okay. It's more designed to help be a guide and walk you through every step of the process if you say you want to be a college baseball player or a pro baseball player. Okay. It's a guide. That's really what it is. It's taking you through every step and making sure that you meet every standard that has to be met in order to reach that goal.
I got you.
So when I talk about like the transcript audit, we have a person, a doctor who comes in and she looks at your transcript to make sure you have the credit hours that are necessary to become a Division I athlete. And if you don't have those hours, she's going to give you kind of a prescription basically to get to that, or give you the avenue that you need to take to get to that.
I got
So if you're not a Division I qualifier out of high school, you may have to go JUCO. And then, after you go JUCO, you get those grades, and you actually graduate now, according to how the rules are. You graduate now, and now you become a D1 eligible guy.
I got
Or you go to a D2, excuse me, you go to an NAIA, play those years, get the GPA, and then transfer into a Division I program. So that's what it's designed to do. It's designed to be your guide. Not necessarily hold your hand the whole way, but be the guide that you need to get the information to where you're trying to get to.
I got you. It's like a playbook. So basically, you can go back to the book.
It's like a playbook.
Okay.
Right.
You know what to do. Hey, we know what to do. We know what to do when there's runner on first. We don't want to hit the ground
Right.
ball. We know we're
Right.
hitting the ground ball in the infield. We know what to do when we got runner on first and third and no outs. We need to hit the ball deep
Right.
to the opposite field. We score this guy. We need to
Right.
score this guy. So basically, I got
Right,
you.
bring this
I
guy
got
in, right.
I get it. I get what you're
Yeah.
saying. That makes a lot
So,
of sense. Go
so
ahead.
from that side, from the educational side on it to the academic side of, when I say education, I'm talking about the baseball IQ, understanding the game, to the actual academic side of it, and making sure that you meet those search standards. And if you need access to tutoring, we can connect you with the people that can help you with that. That's kind of where we're trying to become. It's more than just playing a game and spending thousands of dollars to go play a game, right? It's truly development that I think parents are missing and definitely truly need.
Okay. So I got to ask you a question about NAIA versus D1. And the reason I'm asking that
Okay.
question is because I was a JUCO, and I'm a proud JUCO, and I was an
Okay.
NAIA, and I'm a proud NAIA guy. Because now kids, they don't know nothing about NAIA. Can you kind of break it down? I mean, I know what it is because I was
Yeah.
a player, and I am alumni of an NAIA. But
Yeah.
can you kind of tell the listeners what is NAIA level?
NAIA so you have different levels. Let me do it this way. You have Division I, NCAA Division I, Division II, Division III, NAIA, which is another 4-year program, which all the ones with with Division I through Division III that I mentioned are 4-year programs. Then you have JUCO, right? And then there's other associations that are out there, but those are kind of like the main 5 guys that you talk about, right? So NAIA and D1, the major difference is scholarship levels, as well as it's according to what level of you're talking about. Because I know some NAIAs that beat the brakes off of some SEC schools, right? and then I know some NAIAs that gonna get the brakes beat off of them when they play an SEC school, right? So you saw last year, you saw a great deal of those institutions, jump out and get some wins against some of these programs. So the real difference is, to me, is what I tell everybody. The real difference is who your coaches are, right? And what those coaches are offering. Like for us, at Dillon, we tell guys, hey, we're the 4th ranked academic institution in the state of Louisiana. Right? You got LSU, Tulane, Loyola, then you got Dillon University, right? So we're up there with the same, we're the 11th ranked HBCU in the country. There's certain things that you can get here academically that you may not elsewhere, right? For us, when I'm recruiting guys, I tell the guys, I say, listen, yeah, we have all that academic stuff, but let's say you're a D1 guy, you have the D1 capabilities, but now if you understand the new market that we're dealing with in Division I baseball with 34, scholarships and roster cuts. Let me make sure that part is said too. 34 scholarship with roster cuts from the current roster to the new roster coming in 2025, 2026. It's going to be very hard for guys to get those opportunities. And so you become much more valuable when you're playing, whether that be playing at JUCO or playing at a NAIA program that you can get in and get some reps in. We got a lot of guys, like this year, we had a lot of guys that the break that just transferred to us, right, from other programs. And they were coming to get the reps. Now, I had to tell some of the guys today, hey, right now, we got guys that just that are seniors that are just better than you guys right now. Not saying where you guys are not going to be, excuse me, but if you go through our development process the same way these guys did in the fall, tweak some things, then next year you have that same opportunity, right? You're going to be the dude for us. Like, we're losing 17 seniors this year at Dillon, right? I'm losing 20 next year.
Wow.
That's 37 ball players I'm losing in 2 years. So our attraction is we're bringing guys in that, one, see the staff, that, two, understand the marketplace, understand that they can come in here, get the development they need, then move on. If LSU come calling, I'm going to handhold you and walk you down the street to Baton Rouge. But at the same time, the difference is, though, I'm going to make sure they're paying you to come. Called NIL. So you come here, get the development, stay here, possibly get drafted or move on, or get a free agent contract, or they come pop you. One of those other schools, these bigger schools, mid majors or whatever you want to call them, or SEC schools, Power 5, whatever it may be, come pop you, and you get opportunity that way. But I can guarantee you this: sitting somewhere is not going to help you get to where you're trying to get.
You're right. Because sitting don't get you nowhere. You know that.
It don't get you nowhere.
Get you nowhere, you know. And Coach, you know this. You know what I'm about to say. Faith without works is dead.
Faith without works is dead. I said that. I had a conversation about that the other day. Just the other day. Faith without works is dead. You know a tree by the fruit it bear.
Right. How you gonna bear fruit? How we gonna bear
apple tree's not gonna bear? Apple tree doesn't bear oranges, and an orange tree doesn't bear apples. You know the tree by the fruit it bear, and the faith without works is dead. So if I don't see no works out of you, that means the faith wasn't there, and I know the tree by the fruit it bears.
Bears nothing. Nothing plus nothing is nothing.
Nothing.
I got it. Hey, Coach.
Nothing. Exactly.
Coach, I'm with you, Coach. I am with you 100%. Because I'm a coach, so I know what you're talking about. I'm like, listen, well, Coach, I want to go play D1 baseball. I want to play D2. I said, wait a minute. You got to have D1 and D2 talent, and you got to have D1 and D2
grades.
Work skills and grades.
Work skills, right.
You got to be able to work.
And grades.
You got to have the grades and work. And
right.
Also, you got to be D1 mentality and D2 mentality. So.
One of the things that I started doing again as I've started back coaching is I'm telling guys that, hey, I need you to send me your workout. I want to see your workout in the weight room, right? Because our program, we work out 5 days a week at minimum, right? 5 days a week, we have programs that allow that follow you and track you and your body movements and things. So we have all these different things that we do. But I tell guys to send me your workout, because what happens when you get here? You get here, you see all the girls on campus, and you start getting a little lazy, and you start not wanting to work out and stop doing the things that you're supposed to be doing or were accustomed to doing, right? And then I go to my office, I say, hey, come here, little Jimmy. Let me show you this. You remember this video you sent me? And I back play. The same intensity in the weight room, trying to do that video, trying to get this scholarship, right? They get in there and hit it hard. They just buffing, all this stuff. They doing squats, deadlifts, all this stuff. They do it, hitting it hard, right? But then when I get them on campus, you don't want to lift. And then you wonder why I'm taking your scholarship at the end of the year, because you didn't get better. The part of getting better in our program is you get bigger, faster, stronger.
I like it, Coach. I like it. You know, I got a few more questions I'm going to ask you. Coach,
all right.
I got a few more. Just a few. Give me your 4 Mount Everest players that you would put on a Mount Everest for baseball. Your 4 players.
Ooh. Wow. Well, I wear the number 42, so obviously I got to go with Jackie Robinson as the official color barrier breaker, right? Okay. I would have to go with Willie Mays. I would have to go with. I'm gonna go with 5 guys. I'm gonna give you 5. Okay. I would go with Hank, Heather and Hank. I would go with Barry.
Barry who? Barry Bonds?
Barry Bonds. I would go with Barry Bonds as one of the most prolific hitters ever.
That's right.
And then I would actually go back and I would give you either Ted Williams or Babe Ruth.
Okay. You went old
A little
school. I
different.
like it. I like it.
Yeah,
I
we're old
like
school.
it. You went old school.
Guys that were prolific. You know, those are the ones that stand out to me. And if I had to make my Mount Everest, that's kind of the ones that I would, definitely look at putting up there.
I like your list. I like your list. I like your list. I like your list. I mean, you got one of my favorite players on there of all time, Mr. BB. So I got nothing but love. And his uncle, his godfather, Willie Mays.
Godfather, right? Willie Mays, right?
So we 2 for 2 right there. We ain't talking about the other one. So Jackie, that's 3. So but that's good, Coach. Hey, I got a couple more, and we're gonna end this thing out.
All right.
Coach.
Okay.
Give the audience this. Give them this called a play of the day. Give a play that you've seen that most players have never seen, that we haven't been able to see, that you've seen. Maybe somebody that went to the next level, went to go play pro ball. You can anywhere, anytime. Can you share that with the audience?
All right. So give me the question one more time because I want to make sure I get this right.
I want to make sure you give us a play of the day. In other words, there's a play that you have to tell people about that nobody's seen it, but you've seen it. They could have went pro. They could have been playing pro ball, MLB ball.
Oh, a player. Oh,
that you've seen.
Wow.
Or experienced.
Man, let me. I'm gonna go back to Ed Lewis, kid I was telling you about that the ball sounded like when it came by you. I believe Ed arm. I mean, I think if Ed transfers over or transitions over to a PO, I think Ed would be one of those guys you'd have heard was throwing 102 probably 25, 30 years ago. I just think whenever I see Ed, I still say the same thing about him. If you were to transition over to be a PO, I think you were one of those guys that your arm was just phenomenal. I mean, I was a mid-90s guy. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I was a mid-90s, but his was different. I mean, you knew mine was 93, 95. You knew his was 97, 99, maybe 100, maybe 102. It's different. So Ed would be one of those guys. I mean, I have to give that guy, I give him his props right there out of Troy, Alabama.
Was there a play that you seen that you experienced that he threw somebody?
Oh, I saw him get a ball in the corner and hose a guy that took off from second base. Okay. Playing right field corner. Okay. He reached down, picked up, and just let the ball ride. I was at first base, so I'm supposed to be the cut guy at that point, right?
Right.
There was no way in God's green earth I was trying to cut that ball because it was on line. And I knew it was 102 going by my face.
You just let it go.
Let it go. Just watch it. And just whoa! You know how you jump up and go crazy when he gets punched out at the plate. It's like, and he beat it by 2 feet, man. I'm like, it's crazy.
It was like Bo Jackson threw out that guy.
Yeah, it's like Bo Jackson. Yeah, it's just like that. Now, I did not see that directly. I saw the videos of it. I wasn't there to see that. But I was there to see when Ed threw this guy out at the plate.
You've seen it. Okay.
I saw that with my own eyes.
Oh, man, that's great. I mean, that's great, man. I got one more, Coach. We're going to close it
out. All right.
One more. That's good. That's good. This was called the post-game question.
Post-game question.
Post-game question. Every time we coach, we got a post-game meeting. We got to get together after the game. We got to discuss. We got to talk. Nobody's going home. But for you being a coach, you get one choice. You get the opportunity to pick anybody, dead or alive, a coach that you would like to talk to, ask questions, but you have 30 minutes. And why?
Hey.
Who would that be?
I got 30 minutes. I got 30 minutes.
He can be dead or alive.
I'm bringing. If I got 30 minutes and it can be anybody dead or alive, I'm bringing Coach Frank Evans back, and I want to sit with him for 30 minutes. Frank Evans, sit with him for 30 more minutes, and just to hear the stories that he used to tell about the Negro Leagues and all the guys that he played with. I firmly believe that is the one person that I would bring back to have a conversation with right now.
And why would you bring him back? Why? Why would you bring him back?
Man, they just listen to those stories. I've been a mentor of mine, right?
I got you.
Just, I took him to D.C. to go into the Hall of Fame, the National Hall of Fame. and the Smithsonian when they did the induction there. And so, just relishing those times, just to get those times back, and have conversation with him and just learn more about the history. I don't think there's a lot of guys that are telling those stories like that anymore. So for me, it would be Coach Frank Evans. Yeah.
I like that, Coach. Can you give a closing remarks for the closing remarks for the listeners? Anything? You can leave out your information for your school or whatever. Everything. It's all you.
So I guess the best thing to say, guys, is this is as a coach, this is kind of can be a tough industry sometimes, right? What I tell guys all the time is, you got to be made for this. You got to be built for this. And there are a lot of people that aren't built for this. Things are not always going to go the way you want. Things are not going to always go the way you expect. And sometimes you got to pivot and make adjustments. Pivot and move. And, that's the biggest thing that I tell anybody. Whether this is baseball, whether this is life, things are going to happen. How do you pivot? How do you adjust? How do you manage it? Do you quit and give up, or do you find alternative means to be successful? So that's kind of what we're looking at. Just at the end of the day, we at Dillard, we focus on with our program. We focus on the process, not necessarily the results. We feel like if we can perfect the process, the results that we want will automatically come, because if we do the deal with the little things over and over and over again and not overlook them and make sure that those little things get taken care of, we find success, and we find success more often. So at the end of the day, focus on the little things. Stop letting the little things go by, whether that's in baseball or in life or your business or whatever. Focus on the little things. Focus on the process. Love the process. Love the grind. And most likely, all the times, I've seen everybody who's actually, followed the process and stuck to the process and become successful. So those are the last words I got for you.
Coach,
follow the process.
Coach, that's very good. I appreciate you coming on today. This is episode 50, very own Coach Rod White with Dillard University. Make sure I'll get that out there. Dillard University, not Dillard High School, Dillard University in Louisiana.
Dillard University.
Make sure I get that out there. He said some very powerful things today. He talked about, building, development. He talked about building development. He talked about pivoting when things aren't going your way. He talked about making adjustments. So, my closing remarks is this. I ask everybody every time they come on the show, where are you being led? LED, Coach. LED. Where are you being led? Are you going north, south, east, or west? So the L stands for what, Coach? I'm glad you asked. It means listen. Listen to everything that Coach White said today. Faith comes by hearing, and hearing the word of God. So if you listen, do less talking, more listening, I guarantee you the E will come in place. What does the E stand for, Coach? Execute. Come on now. Execute on what Coach just told you. Listen and execute. Okay, Coach, after I do that, listen and execute. What's the last letter? The letter is D, Coach. And guess what the D stands for, Coach? Dominate. That's what God called us to do on this earth, was to dominate. We're supposed to dominate. But you can only dominate if you're listening, executing, and then you can dominate. And I guarantee you, God doesn't make mistakes, only we make mistakes. We got to make sure we put on our ears so we can execute and dominate. This is Coach Laurie, very own episode 50 with Coach Rod White, the man with all the talents. He has done it all. Politics, finances, coaching, scouting. It has been a blast, man. I thank you for your time and effort. God bless. Never stress. This is Coach Laurie. I'm out. Thanks a lot, Coach. I appreciate it. Have a good night.
You too, brother. Appreciate you.